Okay, welcome everybody. Come on in. Welcome to our Wealth on Wednesdays webinar. Uh, Particularly grateful for those that are on time. Today we're going to be talking about cryptocurrency. Hey, Maxine from Accra, good to see you. And I've got someone to introduce you to also, Deborah Haywood, I'm glad to see you. Also, we're going to make some programming changes in the coming weeks. We're going to make some tweaks to our Wednesday webinars that I host, and I'm going to ask you for some feedback and some input to give us some suggestions. I won't get into that today. I'm telling you now, those of you who are on time, so you can begin incubating thoughts even before you know what the question is. But we have some significant plans. Hello, Cheryl McLeod, good to see you. We have some significant plans for the balance of this year. And all of you know the old adage. Catherine, good to see you. Lisa, if you keep doing the same thing the same way, looking for different results, then you have embraced a form of insanity that's a threat to you, your future, and everybody around you. And so we're going to make some changes, and I'm going to ask our most avid listeners, watchers, and supporters to give us some input on those changes. But welcome today. It's the month of June. I'm counting down to my retirement from the church. Hey, Rochelle, good to see you from Virginia. And I thank all of you for your feedback and your responses to our email. If you don't get my daily email, I'm counting down and I'm sharing my reflections. I'm sharing the thoughts that are going through my mind and my spirit every day. And so if you don't get the email, it means you haven't registered. Just go to my website, dbstories.com, and you can, if you see the banner that says meditations, they're not really meditations this month. Every other month it's meditations, but this month it's reflections on retirement. You can register and you'll get the email every morning? No, every evening, every afternoon, every day. You'll get an email every day, and I'll tell you some things about me, about my future, about my thought process, about retirement that otherwise you wouldn't know. And then we have a video. It's called The Road to Retirement. And said you have to watch that. I was listening to what's her name, Diana Ross, the other day, and she sang that song Reflections. And since I'm reflecting, I decided to record it and send it out. And then Sly Stone started singing, "Thank you for letting me be myself." And since I plan to be myself in retirement, hey, South Africa, good to see you. Good to see you. So we put out a little video with reflections with Diana Ross and thank you with Sly Stone. And every day we send out a little video. Yesterday, I was interviewed by a class of third graders. And you can see the interview between me and these third graders. One child asked me if I've ever gotten in trouble. Only a third grader would ask a preacher that question. But anyway, thank you. Good to see everybody. Let's get started. Before we get into the subject of the day, I want to introduce you to someone who 11 years ago approached me after having graduated from Syracuse University. She grew up in the church, and she approached me concerning her future. And what I wanted was her skills. And so we made a deal. The deal was that she would help me at the church package our narrative and produce our story on video to share with the world. And then the deal was she would use that packaging to market herself as a TV anchor. And my thought was it would take her a few months to land a job. And while she was doing that, she'd be creating great content for the church. Well, it turns out that she did one package. It was so good, she sent it to NBC. NBC hired her to be the news anchor just based on that one video. And she moved to upstate New York and she was successful there. And then she got married and now she's got children. And now today I'm introducing her as the director for our company of communications and marketing. Welcome to day 2 of your new job, Brittany Smallwood.
Thank you very much for your kind words and that kind introduction. It is truly a pleasure to be with you this afternoon, and I am so excited to be joining the team to do marketing and communications. You know, from afar, as you mentioned, I grew up in the church, and I was able to watch all of the great work that everyone was doing in communities across the nation. And it was truly a dream of mine to join a team to be able to help others achieve financial freedom. So I am so excited because I've been watching everyone do a great job. So I'm happy to help however I can and to just do my best to help others.
Well, Brittany, I've watched you grow up, and part of my life's commitment is to not only nurture younger people, but ultimately to turn my work over to younger people. And as I said in private prior to us going on camera, you, along with so many other talented young people, are a part of my succession planning. I intend to retire for real and one day from everything. And having you by my side, having known you as long as I have, and having watched your TED Talk and your interviews, I'm just honored to have you on the team. So Brittany's going to come back with Ansia Brown at the end of my talk with our special guest today to talk about Moneylion, bring us up to date on Moneylion, introduce you to Moneylion if you don't know about Moneylion, and also to give you new information that you may not have. So Brittany, stay tuned, and I look forward to you coming back after we talk about cryptocurrency.
Thank you.
All right. So we have with us today a very special executive from the fastest growing and perhaps most comprehensive fintech company in the country. Moneylion is our partner. And if you read objectively, read in the press, see what's happening with fintech, look at the competition, and I can assure you that our partnership with Moneylion was strategically correct because Moneylion is making moves, it's expanding, and it's creating the capacity to serve working people in ways that no other financial company is doing. And so I'm grateful for the connection, the relationship, and today we're going to talk with senior executive at Moneylion, Mike Doniger. Did I say it right, Mike? Doniger. Doniger. Mike Doniger, who I invited to come here because of his background, his personal background in financial advisement. But more importantly, Moneylion is about to expand to give people who are members like myself, I'm on the waiting list, Mike, an opportunity to invest in cryptocurrency. And I thought we should start today having the conversation about cryptocurrency, what it is, why Moneylion is getting involved in accessing and helping their members access cryptocurrency. So Mike, thank you for coming on today. And before we talk about cryptocurrency, let's talk about Mike. Mike, who are you? Where'd you come from? And what are you doing today?
Sure. Thank you for the great introduction, Dr. Soares. Excited to be here with you. I'm born and bred. I'm a born and bred New Yorker. I grew up in New York on Long Island. I spent a little bit of time down in Maryland when I was going to college. And then upon graduating, I moved back to New York, and I've been living in New York City ever since. Prior to my time at Moneylion, where I've been for 3 years, I worked in traditional wealth management. I actually started working, fun fact, at Lehman Brothers 3 weeks before they went bankrupt.
Oh,
so
wow.
It was an interesting first experience. And then I went on, Lehman Brothers became Barclays. Barclays sold their US wealth management business to Stifel. And then I spent a little bit of time at Morgan Stanley before going to Moneylion. And what drew me to Moneylion was the opportunity to take my experience and learnings from working with high net worth individuals and helping make those same services and the education around them available for all Americans. So Moneyline's mission really stood out to me. And I think a lot of the investing capabilities and features we built so far have helped to democratize investing, make it accessible. And I think the term you said you like to use, entry level, for newer or more casual investors, but leveraging a lot of the same thought processes, tools, and even some of the actual investment models that are available at kind of larger wealth management firms or even large institutions that use the same technique. So that's a little bit about my background.
Yeah, Mike, what you described is so accurate. You know, most of us normal people, we try to make money and then we spend money and hopefully try to save some money. I never really understood that money requires a strategy. And if you had said to me something about strategy and money, 30 years ago, I'd have thought you were crazy. But what I love about Moneylion is that it's user friendly. The app is as easy to use as a video game. It is interactive. It is it's educational without being school. But more importantly, it gives Moneylion gives me an opportunity to develop a money strategy, a strategy for my money and for the average person. My 31-year-old son said to me last week, Dad, how do I get started investing? He said, I'm making money, I'm saving money. And I said, the answer is easy, Moneylion. And I use it for my family, for myself, and I love that. So here's the key question. Cryptocurrency, people know more about Bitcoin, I think, than any other cryptocurrency, is a growing phenomenon. It's highly volatile. It's confusing. People aren't really sure what it is. Is it gambling? Let's talk for a minute about just crypto. What should the average person think when they hear the term cryptocurrency?
Sure. So cryptocurrency is an emerging asset class. So asset class being a type of investment. It's a digital currency that right now, the main purpose of it is that it's a store of value or an investment. There's a lot of conversation about it potentially serving more the purpose of a actual financial currency that you can buy and sell things with in the future. But that's not where it's at right now. It's still pretty young, I would say, in terms of, or immature in terms of its history. And, it's only been around for, call it, really 8 to 10 years and more mainstream now for the last handful of years. I think a lot of people that invest in it, it's very speculative in nature, meaning people are investing in it and with the understanding that it's risky and it could go up a lot, but it could also go down a lot. Dr. Surs, as you mentioned, the biggest one by far is Bitcoin. And then the next biggest, but from an investment standpoint, much smaller, is Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
So those are two of the names you may hear in headlines.
Right. So is it real? I mean, this dog coin or Dodge coin, however you pronounce it.
Dogecoin.
Dogecoin. It was nothing, and then it was something, and then it was a huge something, and then something happened. But every time I hear about Dogecoin or read about it, it's described as having started as a hoax or as a joke.
Yep. So again, I'm not an expert in the specific coins, so yeah. I'll put that out there to start. But I think a lot of cryptocurrency in general, whether it be Bitcoin or Ethereum or Dogecoin, they all have underlying technologies or underlying supplies. So, there's a concept of supply and demand there, and there's limited amounts in existence of each. So that creates some perceived value. But like any investment, stocks fall into this bucket as well. They move up and down or trade a lot based on headlines and news. So in particular to Bitcoin or Dogecoin, Elon Musk is the CEO of Tesla, and he's frequently commenting on Twitter about different cryptocurrencies. And people who follow the space are reacting off of things he says, or someone like Mark Cuban, or things they read on message boards. So it's a lot of follow the pack and follow the headlines mentality out there, which is fairly common within speculative types of investments, right? So there's news, or there's a headline, or there's an event, and for whatever the reason, that security, or in this case, cryptocurrency, starts going up, and then people follow because it's going up. I mean, Bitcoin over the last 5 years, right, has been a roller coaster ride. Right. It was low. It went over $20,000. It came all the way back down to about $4,000. It went up to about $60,000. Now it's back around $30,000. So it's definitely not for the faint of heart. And so from an investing standpoint, right, I mentioned it's a new type of asset class, an emerging asset class, and kind of across the wealth management spectrum, even the big players like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, right, are starting to talk about it now. So that narrative too also drives movement in it, because now you have more people, and call it the traditional people, talking about it. But even with that in mind, right, and as people talk about, is it worth investing in one of these? A lot of the thought processes around it, because it's an emerging asset class, and it may be an asset class for the future. If you're comfortable with risk, and it's definitely risky, it can be appropriate to invest in, but I'd say a very small amount of your overall investing strategy. Or if you had, so for example, if you had $100 to invest, I would say you wouldn't want to invest, more than 10%, right, to start maybe in Bitcoin. And the rest of that money should be in more of a long-term kind of core investment approach. So at Moneylion, we have our managed portfolios that give you broad diversification across different geographies, asset classes, stocks or bonds, sectors. So, technology investments versus consumer types of investments, which helps smooth the ride more, and exposure to lots of different stocks and underlying parts of those ETFs. So you're not going to see that roller coaster ride that I mentioned if you were only invested in a cryptocurrency. So, I think in the industry, right, that thought process, at 90-10 split that I talked about is called core satellite. Or another way we've talked about it is like your true investment assets versus your play money or your opportunistic assets. So cryptocurrency would definitely be opportunistic. It would be the small portion of money that you may want to leave on the side, that you may want to invest for growth, while not taking too much risk on your overall amount.
Well, Mike, most people I know can't afford to lose $5. And therefore, when they start investing, they're going to want something that'll grow, but they're going to want something that is less likely to fail and more likely to succeed. And I have a hard time explaining what cryptocurrency is. Listen, full disclosure, I have cryptocurrency assets in my portfolio. It's not 10%, I'll tell you that. And I've done very well. They've doubled in value, minimum. All of my investments in crypto has done well. But I'm hard pressed to explain what it is and who controls it and where it's from and where it's going. And I would think that a company like yours that has me on the waiting list to be able to buy cryptocurrency through my account at Moneylion, is going to be explaining something to me more than the podcast that I listen to and the YouTube pages that I watch.
Yeah.
So what is the pitch going to be from Moneylion? How are you going to explain this to your customers? Who
Yep.
owns it?
Yep. So no, that's all very fair point. And by the way, 10% I would say is high. I was just using that on the $100 example. I think the recommendation out there is more like 1 to 2% of your total portfolio. So back to the question, right, with Moneylion, and how we plan to educate users as they're getting access to the crypto experience. There will definitely be guides and content explaining the space, cryptocurrency in general, what are the main types of coins, different things about it and why it's attractive to people. And one of the reasons that a lot of people see it being an investment of the future or even an actual currency of the future is because this concept called decentralized finance. And so it doesn't move the same way other things in the economy or market might move, and it's not controlled by the same players. So there'll be guides about the technology, the space. We're working on securing that content now, but it will be part of your kind of crypto views and dashboard to help educate you on what you'd be buying and selling, the risks, some other key facts to think about it, to help you feel more you generally the user, right, feel more comfortable using it and confident using it as part of your overall Moneylion tool set.
Yeah. So I read recently that a central bank in another country that I won't name is considering creating its own cryptocurrency. Suppose I wanted to start D-Free Coin. I got on my computer and did whatever the computer geniuses do, and we started our own coin. Would Moneylion be willing to facilitate investment from your members in our coin?
So I mentioned at the beginning that crypto and that Bitcoin and Ethereum are the two biggest, most well-known coins. But there's, many more types of cryptocurrencies beyond that. You named one, Dogecoin, and a lot of those fall into what are considered altcoins or alternative cryptocurrencies, and they range from bigger to smaller. Moneylion, we're starting with Bitcoin and Ethereum because they're the largest. There's the most understanding about them from a risk perspective, right? While they're still risky investments, there's a little more comfort with those two being the largest. And so to answer the question, over time, we will look to add additional currencies. But at least at the outset, it's unlikely that we would add, call it startup currencies, right? Because those would come with even more risk.
Yeah.
When we want to provide the capability without creating too much of a hazard for our members.
Yeah, and that's what I encourage our members to do. Read about cryptocurrency, read about the most popular ones, not because they're popular, but because they're popular for a reason. And what you want to know is, what is that reason? A lot of people are interested in cryptocurrencies that have some functionality. For instance, there's one cryptocurrency that I'm familiar with that facilitates financial transfers internationally. And so there are a lot of people who think that since there's a function within commerce for that cryptocurrency, that it's probably a better investment than one like Dogecoin that's just out there. So I'm encouraging people to do the research, because companies like Moneylion, and I'll ask Mike to say a word about Moneylion to give you a sense of how huge this company is. Companies like Moneylion that have investors and that have members they don't jump into anything quickly or lightly. And so, Mike, talk about Moneyline for a second, because you're in the process of doing something huge. And I think just the sheer magnitude of what you're doing and the fact that you're connecting with cryptocurrency is significant. So bring us up to date on the SPAC and on all of that.
Sure. So Moneyline over the years has grown, significantly. It started focused on lending, and over time it's added additional capabilities and financial solutions to help people at different points in their financial lives, from the investing capability I mentioned earlier, which I'm directly involved in, to Rare Money and banking, as well as other personal financial management tips along the way, our credit building products, Instacash, et cetera. So over the years, Moneyline has interacted with millions of users, and currently has well over 1 million active users, or 1 million active members. And so we're working with and helping a lot of people, and we want to continue to expand the Moneyline ecosystem and provide additional solutions to help people in their financial lives, both in times of when they need help, and in like so the Instacash product, helping people when they have a shortfall, and then in times of building for the future with investments and cryptocurrency. And those times might come and go for the same member, right? So at different points throughout the year, they may fall into a different bucket, and Moneyline wants to be that financial destination that helps members manage through kind of any situation that they run into, while providing tips and advice and guidance along the way. You mentioned the SPAC, that's going well, and is going to help Moneyline continue to grow right into the future, and provide resources to continue to add a lot of the services that I add and build onto the services that I mentioned.
Yeah, for those who don't know, a SPAC is a special purpose acquisition corporation. The nickname in the finance world is blank check corporation. These are companies where people get investors for the purpose of buying something, and they don't know what the something is when the SPAC is formed. But when they do buy something, the something that they buy, we're talking now hundreds of millions of dollars. We're not talking about $30 or $40. The something that they buy satisfies the investment appetite of the owners of the SPAC, and it means they've done research on the company, and they've checked out the management of the company, and they've looked at the long-term prospects of the company, and they make a decision to take all of these hundreds of millions of dollars that they've assembled and to either buy or merge with or take public the company that they're investing in. And Moneylion has been the beneficiary of a SPAC that has decided to merge with its operation and to bring all of its finances, which means that Moneylion is going from a successful operation of a couple of $100 million to a huge operation of probably a couple of $1 billion. And I say all of that simply to say that when you have that kind of money attracted to this kind of investment vehicle, the cryptocurrency, you have to take it seriously. This is not something that some kids are doing in their basement that nobody knows about. And as Mike said, big companies, big investment companies, Goldman Sachs, and governments are involved in and connected to cryptocurrency. So let me go back to cryptocurrency, Mike. If I own, I own today maybe $100,000 worth of cryptocurrency. Besides selling it, is there anything you know of that I can do? Can I buy a car? Can I buy a house? Can I buy a boat?
I think for the most part today, it serves as an investment and a store of value. Right. I think there's companies or marketplaces, right, that have either first dip their toe into or have experimented with potentially allowing transactions to be facilitated through cryptocurrencies. However, that sort of function of it is not mainstream at this point.
Right.
You know, Tesla announced they were going to do it, and then they changed course and now they're not going to do it.
Right.
So for the most part today, it's an investment vehicle, and it's, I mentioned, more speculative in nature. Going forward, right, I don't know if it's necessarily Bitcoin or another cryptocurrency, one backed by a government or not, but you know, going forward, there's a lot of conversation around, is it a payment source of the future? And you know, that's one of the reasons I think that certain people choose to invest in it, because they believe that.
Mike, if I buy a stock, you know, and the stock market has its ups and downs, but if you look at the stock market over the last 30, 60, 90 years, there were more ups than downs. And if you had $1 invested in stock 90 years ago and just left it there, after all the ups and downs, that dollar would be significantly valuable. It would have grown exponentially. But if I buy a stock of a public company through Moneylion, I can go to the website of the company. I can read the annual report of the company. I can see the directors of the company. I can find out how much directors are paid at that company, because it's a public company. And so I can make some decisions about that stock based on more than news, but I can look at the management. They have to disclose certain material information about the company. If I buy a coin, where do I go to get the kind of information that I would want if I owned a stock?
Yeah, because it's a new market, and I mentioned it was sort of immature in its history. There's not a lot of that infrastructure, I would say, doesn't exist in the crypto space right now, which is part of what makes it so risky, because a lot of that up and down movement, there's not always clear evidence as to why it's going up and down and things you could point to. And so, you know, I think it's also a very unregulated space right now. And I was gonna comment on this before. You mentioned central banks. You know, it's an unregulated space, which has been one of the reasons to you know, a certain segment of investors that cryptocurrencies have become popular, and that decentralized concept. The more it grows and the more people that are investing in it, and then potentially the more people that are using it for other purposes, the more regulation there will be, right? So there'll be regulation from the IRS, potentially FINRA and the SEC, in terms of trying to protect individual investors from losing, right? Because you mentioned most people can't afford to lose on their investments, and that's the purpose of a lot of these regulators. So over time, I think you'll see more regulation in the space, and right now there hasn't been, and that'll come with more disclosures and information and things like that.
Yeah, right now there's litigation between the SEC and one of the cryptocurrencies, and the SEC is arguing that it's really a security and should be subject to the laws that regulate securities. And we're watching that litigation to see what the outcome will be, because the outcome will have an impact on the value of that currency. Well, I think you've helped us dip our toe in the water of the cryptocurrency world. It's a very interesting world. It's a very important world. And you know, what I've been telling our members and our followers is to do the research, but to your earlier point, whatever you put into cryptocurrency has got to be what you can afford to lose. It's that speculative, it's that volatile, and it's that young. You know, it's speculative in that there's no there's no way to really assess the strength or weakness of a cryptocurrency the way you could a security. If you buy stock in one of the companies where I'm on the board, you can read 300-page documents. You can study our proxy. You can see our business plan. You get earnings reports that are public every quarter. But if you buy crypto, all you can do is listen to some podcast or read some news article to get a sense of what's happening in that currency. So I just want you to be careful. I've gotten so many questions from people about cryptocurrency. And I think, Mike, the fact that Moneylion, with all of its infrastructure, all of its technology, and now with these new investors, the fact that Moneylion is willing to help us, members like me, access cryptocurrency, it gives me a little more comfort because I know that Moneylion will do the due diligence, will be as careful as you possibly can, and will provide the educational information as you do with all of your other products. That's what I love about Moneylion. I learn as much about money as I gain in investment returns through your platform. Is there anything else you'd like to say that we haven't said about cryptocurrency? Any advice, any news, any perspective that we haven't covered?
Sure. I mean, just to end off, right? I think you made the point, right? Before you're investing in anything, whether it's ETFs, stocks, cryptocurrencies, understand that with investing, there's some level of risk, and some investments have more, more than others, right? So, just be prepared on that front. But just getting started in investing, it's really about having good financial or investing behaviors. So you mentioned how the stock market has gone up and down over time, but largely, the trend has been an upward one. So, you mentioned your son asked you, how do you get started? So I think the key is getting started. You don't need a lot to get started. That's part of the Moneylion mission too. You could start small as $5, both with our current portfolio and crypto. That helps you get into the space and learn. And then continually taking advantage of something called dollar cost averaging, which is kind of continually adding over time. And those could be small amounts as well. But that helps you to build what you're putting away on a consistent basis. But then also it helps weather those ups and downs, because if you're on a set schedule and you're not really worrying about timing the market or trying to pick the exact right time to buy, sometimes you're going to buy when the price is higher, sometimes you're going to buy when the price is lower, and it'll tend to help you even out along the way. So remembering those key, good investing behaviors, no matter what you're investing in, is a good kind of first step.
Yeah, and that's what I respect about you, Mike, because your background is in traditional, what we might call traditional investing. Your training is there, your experience is there, and you wouldn't violate everything you know. You wouldn't abandon your core knowledge and your core beliefs. There's one question that's in the chat that I had also, and I want to see how much you can and tell us about this question. This ransomware cyber attack issue is growing. Ransomware being paid to cyber terrorists who infiltrate people's systems, steal their data, and then they require payments to get it back. Within the last couple of weeks, a ransomware that was paid, it was described as having been recovered by the DOJ, and the ransom was paid in cryptocurrency. If cryptocurrency is virtual, how could the Department of Justice retrieve payments that were made through cryptocurrency? You have any?
So I'm not going to get into deep here, because obviously I'm not an expert in how this all works. But on the topic of regulation, right? One of the potential concerns about the cryptocurrency space in general and how it's used is I think there's potentially a lot of use on black markets. And so it's payments that can be, exchanged behind the scenes, right? And crypto is generally held in coded wallets. And so it's harder to trace, I think, those payments. And that's why it's an attractive form of payment there, which is a negative usage of cryptocurrency and its gain in popularity. Obviously the government has sophisticated, cybersecurity and other technical capabilities. And so, I think they were able to potentially navigate those wallets and those transactions and trace it back to where they were stored and the source of it. That is even like an assumption on my part. So
Yeah.
take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Well, and I think it also, if you research this whole area, folks, you'll bump into a term called distributed ledger, and the distributed ledger is a computer-based network of people that track crypto transactions. And if I go any deeper, I'll be drowning. And so let me just simply say that for those who want to know more, I would urge you to Google cryptocurrency, to look at not a particular currency as much as you look at the technology, distributed ledger. There's some other terms that are easy to remember and access and understand. Blockchain is another term that generally describes this world, and get to know about it, understand it. I believe personally, there will be opportunities in the future because if you look at the evolution of currency, if you just look at the evolution of the way people develop means of exchange, all the way back from the barter system up to the credit card system and the debit system and the ACH system, I believe these digital assets and cryptocurrency fall on the line of continuum for means of exchange. That's just my personal perspective. That's why I've invested in cryptocurrency, and I've invested enough to lose without affecting my lifestyle. But I want you to do the research, understand it. This is the first of a series of conversations. I wanted to start with Moneylion first because I trust them more than I trust most people. Two, because they put me on a waiting list to be able to buy cryptocurrency through my membership there in their platform. And three, because they're cutting edge and are working on the ability to offer everyday people, working people, access to a complete suite of products, the kind of products wealthy people have through investment banks. And so, Mike, I want to thank you for getting us started in this conversation. I hope we've said something. I hope Mike and I have said something to whet your appetite to do more research and study cryptocurrency, because I do believe it's here to stay. When it first started, there were a lot of people in finance, Mike, who said about cryptocurrency the same thing some of us old people said about rap music. We thought rap was just a fad, and now hip hop is taking over the world. I think there are a lot of people in finance that think crypto is just a fad, and I think the next 10 to 20 years is going to prove them wrong. So thank you, Mike. Thank you for coming. Thanks for what you do at Moneylion. And don't leave, because I want Ansia to come on to explain a little more about Moneylion, just in case people need the details. Brittany's going to speak with her about Moneylion and how people can participate and join and take advantage of all these resources.
Thank you so much, Dr. Suri, for having me.
Yep, you were great. Welcome, Brittany and Ansia.
Hi.
Hello. Ansia, for people who don't know, do you mind describing what Moneylion is?
Yeah, I also want to say hi, D-Free family. If you all have been joining the Wednesday webinars, I pop on every Wednesday, every now and then. So hi, and I hope you all are having a good day. And yes, Brittany, I would love to talk about Moneylion. So to kind of give you a quick synopsis, and then I have a video to go along with this. Moneylion is an all-in-one mobile app that allows you to bank, borrow, grow, and invest your money. There's a lot of unique features to it, and some of that, which is what Mike talked about today in terms of, in Dr. Stories, as he mentions, is entry-level investing. And for me, I'm a millennial. I have student loans that I have to pay back. So me being able to not have to worry about, oh, which stock is trending right now that I need to invest in, I can say, you know what? Let me put my money on auto invest. I have whatever amount of money that you want to put in there. It's completely up to you. Again, you can start for $5. Just set it on auto invest. It can be on a weekly basis, a bi-weekly basis, a monthly basis, but long as you're contributing to your investment account over time. So I'm going to share a quick video. It's 30 seconds long, and I'll also drop it in the chat for you all. And I'll put it in the link again. I did drop in the link if you all wanted to learn more about Moneylion and D-Free together. So if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Pop them in the chat. If I'm talking too fast or my twang is in the way, pop those questions in the chat too, and I'll repeat them as well. So give me 1 second to pull up the video.
You're doing great.
Thank you. All right. So can you all see my screen? I want to say yes. All right. So
Yeah.
This is awesome. Okay. So this is a short video just to kind of give you an insight of most of our personal finance capabilities, and then I can talk about the additional capabilities as well.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Make my move. I'm all in. Got nothing to lose. I'm take it slow. Here I go. Are you ready? Ready to go. Ready for more.
Awesome. All right. That is our other video. So that's one of our videos just to kind of give you insight about Moneylion, and then also to give you a little bit more detail about crypto and what's all entailed with that. I would like to show our quick video for crypto, and you can sign up for the waitlist today, and I'll show you the steps on how to do that. All right. Didn't mean to play that again. My apologies. Okay, so I hope you all got a good gist of what Moneylion all entails. It's literally everything is in the palm of your hand in your cell phone that you can manage all of your finances. And if I'm not mistaken, D-Free also has their 7-minute challenge going on. This is the perfect way to be able to look at all of your finances in one place. So yeah, I hope that answered your first question, Brittany, about what Moneylion is.
It definitely did. So do you mind just describing more about the Moneylion and D-Free partnership?
Of course. So Moneylion teamed up with D-Free to be able to provide these financial tools that normally wouldn't be provided to communities. And I can speak for myself, being African-American, be provided to communities that look like me. They are very low entry cost. So like our investment capabilities, they are $1. But when you think about the rest of the access that you have, so we have thematic portfolio investing, we have auto investing, we walk you through, and if you don't have any insight on what investing is to even start our onboarding process, that sign up process to even create an investment account, we really actually like, do you want to be a conservative investor? Do you want to be an aggressive investor? What does that even mean? And then there's scales like, okay, if I lost this a bit of money, would that make me upset, or will I be okay if that's a loss in my account today? But really just making sure that you understand what you're putting your extra money into, because every dollar does count. And at Moneylion, we want to make sure, and I say this, I probably shouldn't say this, but we really give you the bang for your buck at Moneylion, and making sure that every dollar that you put in and invest with us, or that you use with our Raw Money banking account, that is truly getting its full maximum potential.
So then if someone wants to join, what should they do?
So if somebody wants to join, I'll drop this link in the chat, but you'll go to moneylion.com/D-Free. excuse me, and you'll get a chance to see everything that's included. So in addition to our investment capabilities, we have Credit Builder Plus, which is an awesome membership that we offer. It's $19.99 a month. And basically you get access to making sure that if you want to increase your credit score, if you need to increase your credit score because it's not in a place that you want, and you have like house goals, or maybe there's a goal that you want to maybe like, I know some of our customers, like they wanted to get a Harley Davidson, like that was on their list of things and they knew they needed to build their credit to get it. And so they use Credit Builder Plus to get one step closer to that. So there's a range of reasons why you want to increase your credit score, but we help our members increase their credit score by 42 points within 60 days, which I think is pretty awesome. And we completed our 12-week program earlier this year, and one of our members, she I think increased her credit score by 21 points. And I think like within a 2-3 month time span, which was like pretty awesome. And she was just getting started. It might be less than 2-3 months, but it was 21 points. And it was just awesome just to see her score increase throughout that program time length. It was, I think maybe like a month and a half, which is awesome. But again, everybody's financial journey is different. So it won't always look the same, but on average, we do see about 42 points within 60 days of our customers' credit score increasing depending on your starting point. And so with that, we do report all of those loans to all 3 credit bureaus, which is important because a lot of these credit building loan programs don't report to all 3. They may only report to 1, and then you wondering why your score looks completely different in all 3 bureaus. And it's like, this doesn't make sense. Like, how do I know which one to pick? But we do report to all 3 credit bureaus.
Nice.
So that's just an example. Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that there's a way for people to get on the waiting list for cryptocurrency. So how can they do that?
So the start I would recommend, and I didn't get a chance to drop it in the chat, so let me do that now, but it's to sign up at moneylion.com/DFree. Because then you'll get your special DFree experience joining the Moneylion community. And then from there, you'll be able to receive that additional information once you sign up in the app to sign up for our waitlist for crypto.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
No problem. I don't know if there's any questions. I know I kind of sped through it, and I know there's probably other presentations where I can spend like a whole hour talking about Moneylion. So I'm here for my DFree community.
Brittany, she is so good. She's even better live than she is on camera. The question Marcia has, Nancy, is there cost to join Moneylion? You mentioned the $1 a month. Mm-hmm. You mentioned the $19 a month. Just break down those 2 costs.
Okay, yes, I can definitely do that. So just to sign up for Moneylion in general, just to get the personal finance tips, it is free $99. I like to say that. It's free $99. All you have to do is go into the iOS store or Google Play Store, and you can download the app right there. When it comes to our additional financial capabilities, like our real money banking, that is $1 fee that you have to pay. However, let's think about what's included with the $1 fee. We have a robust cashback rewards program. And in that video that I showed you, when you saw people shaking their phone, if you sign up for real money, which is our debit and checking account, after you make a $10 purchase, you can shake your phone for a chance to win up to that amount of money that you just spent at the store, up to $150. But you can have it like, and that's fun. I mean, for me, it's like, oh, I'm spending and that money gets to go back into my investment account. You can't beat that. And then in addition to that, we do work with national retailers across the country. It'll give you the ability to receive cash back. So all of those cash back rewards that we give you, we put it right into your investment account. And so we're investing in your future. While you're spending, we're investing in your future. So in addition to your auto investment of, let's say, $5, you also have those investments as you continue to use your real money card and your everyday expenses, that money being invested into your account as well.
That's great. Ansia, could you put a link to the video that you showed? The audio on the first video was a little messed up.
Oh no.
But I know you have all of these videos in one place. Put a link to the Moneylion videos so people can watch them at their leisure.
Yes.
Get the whole message. Folks, you should know that we are so serious about creating partnerships and helping people beyond getting out of debt. I know D3 is well known for debt-free, but we're only trying to help people get out of debt so that you can invest and you can own. It's what Janiyah calls the bad D's and the good D's. We're trying to get past the bad D's to get to the good D's, and the good D's can be achieved through this partnership. But we have something on our website. Go to the D3 website and you'll see D3 Solutions. this is one of our key solutions. 54% of Black people either have no bank account at all, or we have a bank account, but we don't use it effectively. We still cash checks at check cashing joints. We still take out payday loans. Through Moneylion, you can get an advance on your paycheck for no fee at all. And so Moneylion is one of the key partners that we have through D-Free Solutions. Charnel Anderson is the leader of our D-Free Solutions team. And I'm just thrilled that Ancia is our key partner with any Moneylion. She's one of us. She talks the talk, she walks the walk, and she is just available all the time whenever we need help. So Brittany, thank you for your interview skills being brought back home. Thank you, Ancia, for your presence. And thank you, everybody. Listen, it's 12:56. We try to start on time and end on time. Don't forget our Juneteenth campaign. And don't forget, it's not too late to become a Juneteenth ambassador. All of you know Juneteenth is a celebration of the final end of slavery in 1865 in Texas. We're not only celebrating the end of slavery, but we're gearing up to end financial slavery. So we're signing up people. We're going to launch on Juneteenth, June 19th, which is just a few days away. We're launching a new effort to help thousands of people become financially free. Debt-free is just the first step towards being financially free. And so if you want to help us recruit people, if you want to be an ambassador, if you'd like to participate yourself, June 19th, you go to D-Free, well, it's actually D-Free-EE, D-F-R-E-E-E, E-D-U. No, it's D-F-R-E-E-E-D-U, D3DU.org. And go straight to the D-Free Academy and sign up and get involved in the $1 Billion Challenge. Thank you, Ancia. Thanks to Mike. Thanks to the whole team at Moneylion for helping us in ways that we really do need to help. We're determined to help 100,000 people pay off $10,000 in debt and start investing that $1 billion. And this platform gives us a chance to do that. So thanks to our team, thanks to our audience. Whatever questions were not answered, we're going to do more on cryptocurrency. This was just the beginning. I hope you're interested. We'll share this video with you and you can watch it again. You can share it with your members, your church members, your sorority members, your family and friends over the 4th of July holiday. You can spread the word. Cryptocurrency is here. It's on the rise and we don't want to miss out, but we also don't want to make mistakes. All right. God bless you, everybody. Have a wonderful Wednesday. I'll see some of you tonight in Bible study.
Thank you, Dr. Soares.
Thank you.
Thank you.